After the 85 thing, the factory side of the tribalism, I mean, it surfaced. The crown, the guilds, then later on, when Taylor came into the fray, the Mandingos were brought in, you know, and so there were people that were being killed in this city. People, you're talking about death squad, not necessarily military people doing it, civilians were doing it, even schools with their neighbors and on tribal grounds. And so I remember one occasion I went to the president. So President, lots of things happening in town here, and I understand, I don't have any proof, but I understand that it's being perpetrated by elements of your tribe. Boom, he hit the ceiling, blah, 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 blah. I said, Mr. President, I ain't got no facts, but you know, I beg you, if it's your people doing it, kindly call them. And then I call a few of your people, I call their names to him. I said, call them and ring them in. You understand? I said, because it is bad. The public talking about it, the international community, people feeling insecure. And then he said, okay, I left me. And believe me, 2-3 days after I left the prayer, 2 days, not even 3 days, 2 days, it ceased. It stopped. You understand? I never pursued it. Then my boss, the Minister of Justice, I said, he's the Chief of Security, he's the Chief of Police, he's the Chief Law Enforcement Officer of the country, the Minister of Justice, in that country, not Liberia, in that country. The Attorney General, the Minister of Justice, is the Chief Law Enforcement Officer of that country. So, my boss seemed not to like the way I was conducting the affairs of the police. And so he tried to co-opt some of my officers, and he was running a parallel thing like under the Ministry of Justice. And again, you know, I didn't like it. And I used to tell me about it. I told him, I said, look, let me tell you something. You can do anything you want to do, but you can never destroy this organization. The police is an institution, it's an arm of government. Every government in the world has a, you may not have an army, but you got to have a police force. I said, so what you're doing is wrong. And so but it was so bad, and my officers, because I'm a Congo man, I don't speak dialect, my officers then start talking dialect on the radio. We're communicating in dialects because of what the Minister of Justice had done or was doing. You understand me? Undermining my authority. And so I couldn't administer the affairs of the office. And if you saw my letter of resignation, I mentioned in my letter. And in my letter of resignation, I praised Mr. Doe and I prayed for Mr. Doe. I prayed God blessings upon me, because if Mr. Doe didn't have confidence in my ability, I wouldn't have lasted 8 years, 10 months in office if he didn't have confidence in me. You understand? Because members of the TRC didn't want me to be chief of police. They had their own tribal people they wanted to bring in. But I was Mr. Doe's choice. And not only his choice, but he supported me. You see? And so I prayed for him. I said I prayed for him, and I resigned and left the country. But mainly it was because I couldn't administer the affairs of the department, and my authority was being eroded by my boss, by the Minister of Justice. And I couldn't fight him. There was no need to do that. Who would listen to me?